Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here with Dr. Jake Covert. Thanks for being here, Doc.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, so Dr. Covert is at Parkway Athletic Club. He has an office there, a Parkway Athletic Club South. So we're going to talk about cutting or the effects of sugar on our bodies. That's our topic. If you guys are interested in knowing more about our weight loss program, there should be a code on the screen there, a QR code that you can scan. There should be a link in the description. We're on YouTube here where we're talking, and there's a phone number right there where you can call and leave a message, and we'll have the appropriate nutritionist get back to you and tell you about the weight loss program if you're looking for that. Sugar is a big topic when it comes to our health, isn't it? But is sugar the same today as it was when I was a kid? I'm in my 60s. It seems like maybe sugar wasn't the same, but what are your first thoughts on sugar in people's diets?
It's added in everything. And I think even looking at nutritional labels, if you just go look at the added sugar section, you would be surprised at the different things that they're throwing as much as they can into it. Because at the end of the day, it tastes good, it's sweet, your body craves it. It makes you want to eat more, actually, because it's not going to be as satiating, and it leaves you kind of empty after you eat it. So you can eat a lot of added sugar and you will feel like you haven't eaten a lot, and you'll want to keep eating, essentially.
So let's kind of identify what kind of sugar we're going to talk about here, because there's multiple kinds. Sucrose, glucose, fructose. Are they all the same? Does your body respond the same to all of them?
No, your body digests them all pretty differently. And fructose, for example, is a really good one because the liver actually digests most of the fructose that you will be intaking. So a lot of problems that I've noticed with my patients that people get down the road is when you start to get maybe insulin resistant, or you start developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you have an excess amount of calories and you're intaking a lot of kind of those simple sugars, fructoses, maybe you're eating an excessive amount of fruit, for example, your liver gets overwhelmed. You start accumulating more body fat, your liver starts to get fattier, and then your liver's not able to digest that fructose as well. And then the cascade happens where you start to get insulin resistant, and then things go downhill from there, essentially.
So yeah, fructose has to go through the liver. It has to be processed by the liver, right? But like table sugar, there's sucrose and fructose in that, correct?
Yeah, there's different combinations of it, like you have your galactose, yeah, and you can kind of combine them essentially. But I think in terms of total calories in the day of the patients that I see and how they digest, I think just generally focusing around reducing added sugars is, despite the kind, is the best first plan of action that you can do, especially if you're on some sort of like a weight loss journey, like you had mentioned. Being able to limit added sugar is really going to aid in weight loss, because the more added sugar you eat, like we said, you're going to be hungrier at the end of that. You're not going to feel as satiated, and you'll just keep eating, essentially. So I like to prioritize decreasing added sugars and maybe looking more at some more fiber intake and something that's going to make you more full, more nutrient dense food, essentially.
You know, well, all our listeners out there, 1 gram of fat, which is the same volume as 1 gram of carbohydrate, 1 gram of fat has 9.2 calories in it. 1 gram of sugar also, or carbohydrate, also has, well, it only has 4 calories in it. But I think, tell me what you think about this, Doc. I think that the sugar, it just makes you want more and more and more. You might be satisfied for an hour, but an hour later, you're going to want something else. Is that how it works?
100%. And like you said, it's only 4 calories per gram. But I mean, for example, just one of those small cans of soda, like a Coca-Cola, that has roughly 40, depending on the type of soda, 40 to 60 grams of added sugar. And I mean, some people, they can drink that in 10 minutes, maybe a few sips, essentially. So if you look at 60 grams of added sugar versus maybe 60 grams if you're adding any sort of like different fibered foods like your potatoes or any sort of vegetables or anything like that, the amount and even sheer quality of or quantity of food that you can have of 60 grams of more fibrous food versus sugar is substantial.
You know, I was reading a statistic, and I can't remember exactly what the statistic was, but it shocked me how many teenagers have fatty liver. It was like half or something like that. I can't remember the statistic, but I just remember it blew my mind at how high I thought it was. And sugar is a big cause of fatty liver, isn't it?
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were talking about before with kind of overwhelming the liver. Liver accumulates more body fat, and then it can't break down those sugars as easily. But that is a very big issue I've seen with some of the high schoolers these days, as well as the amount of soda that they drink and in excess. I mean, I know a couple high schoolers that they're drinking 4 to 6 little cans of Dr. Pepper in a day, essentially.
They're drinking literally, I mean, one of those big soda things, that's 2 liters.
I know, yeah.
A big one.
I mean, if you look at the sheer they're young because they're not feeling some of the effects of it. Their metabolism's a little bit faster. But I mean, if you have 4 to 6 of those, I mean, you're consuming hundreds of grams of carbs, and no one realizes that. But you think it's just a soda, but it's not just a soda. It's the sheer calories in that is unbelievable.
So the benefits of cutting this out are kind of obvious, right? And it's just the health of a lot of these young teenagers in high school, with fatty livers, and they're just loading up on the sugar, liquid sugar in their drinks. And it's horrible. All this stuff can be reversed. How about obesity with teenagers? It's crazy, the numbers. And you can't get away with doing that very long if you're doing, drinking the soda as a kid with the sugar. And that's not counting all the other bad stuff that's in a soda, right? How did it get the color it's got? And there's so much garbage in a soda. I mean, it's like drinking poison, don't you think?
Yeah, the amount of dyes and chemicals that are in it, it's not sustainable, like you said. And you did mention that it is reversible with that, which I think is a really good point to hit on, because despite you're never too far gone to do something about it, and fixing diet, exercise, and lifestyle in general and reducing that is going to have a substantial impact on reversing that process. And ironically, one of my favorite supplements that I think is immensely useful and effective is NAC, especially for the liver. The amount of NAC that I have seen some of my patients take and how fast it can reverse some of the damage that's been done and improve their liver values in their labs is it's impressive.
Yeah, and NAC is a precursor to glutathione, which we have an affiliation there. I think your promo code is Vitality5. So if anyone wants to go to the link there in the description, you can do that and hit that link and use the promo code Vitality5, and you'll get $10 off if you want to get actual glutathione. But I take glutathione. I do 2 injections of glutathione every week, and I do the NAC with the glycine, Glynac. I do that every day also.
That's so healthy. And even in terms kind of talking about that with the sugar as well, because glutathione is amazing. It's the universal antioxidant of the body, essentially. And increasing the added sugar, kind of the term that they use with that is AGEs, is advanced glycolytic end products. And if you eat excess amount of added sugar, you're going to be increasing all of your inflammatory markers, your tumor necrosis factor, your interleukin-6, C-reactive protein, and the glutathione and NAC is essentially, when you build that up in your system, it is able to eliminate a very good majority of that in several weeks, essentially. The oral form is good, but the injectable, like you said, that you're doing, that is very effective. And that's actually what they treat people in the hospital that have liver failure with, essentially.
Yeah, they're doing a glutathione IV, but you can't just take glutathione. Your body doesn't process it very well. So you have to take a precursor like NAC. But you know what else works really well is our alpha lipoic acid. That's something also that will help detox the liver. Something I use every day also. There's 2 forms. If it doesn't say R, alpha lipoic acid. It's probably the S form, which I've learned through just some of the things I've studied, doesn't absorb quite as well as the R form.
Yeah, it's interesting with that because some of the isomers and the enantiomers of the chemicals, even with ibuprofen, actually randomly, there's two forms of ibuprofen, and they actually end up throwing both inside the bottle. And one of them is supposedly near useless, but it's a volume filler in the bottle. It's a random side note, but it's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, I guess that's why you got to take more than one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Play the odds, make sure you get a real one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Jake, how do people follow you on social media? Your office is there at Parkway South. But if they want to know more about you, how do they get a hold of you? How do they follow you on social media? How do they reach out to you?
My Instagram's the easiest. That's atlaschiropractic.us. And then they can also email anytime at info@atlaschiropractic.us.
All right. Any last thoughts before we go, Doc?
I think we covered it. Reduce added sugars, increase whole foods, and more nutrient-dense foods.
And if you guys are interested in learning more about just being healthier, more fit, exercising, gym stuff, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we'll be able to give you what you're looking for. We do interviews with doctors and nutritionists and personal trainers, so subscribe to the channel. Dr. Covert, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Steve.